All right, this is a video of the solutions to the review for exam 1. So the first question is asking for the number of days it's been since the Statue of Liberty was installed. So you're going to go 2025 minus 1886, and that gives us 139 years. But we need the number of days, so we take 139 years and you multiply it by 365 days, because there are 365 days in 1 year. So this is a unit fraction, and the years cancel out. And when you multiply these two numbers, you should get 50,735 days. All right, now we're going to take that and convert that to minutes. So we take 50,735, which is in days, and each day has 24 hours. So 24 hours to 1 day. And each hour has 60 minutes, so 60 minutes to 1 hour. So the units cancel out, giving you things in minutes. Multiply the top numbers. The bottom is just 1 times 1. And if you put this into your calculator, you should get 73,058,400 minutes. All right, moving on. The next question is write in scientific notation, which means our starting number should be between 1 and 10, which is what this is. And that's going to be times 10 raised to, count the digits, 3, 6, 9, so it's 10 raised to 9. Now this one's saying convert to standard number, 11.52 million. So you're multiplying it by 1 followed by 6 zeros, because that's a million. And when you do so, this decimal moves to the right 6 places, leaving you with 1152 followed by 4 zeros. And let's put the commas there so we can see it. So it's 11,052,520,000. All right, last one. This is 1,152 million. So you're multiplying that by a million. So as a standard number, that would be 1,152 followed by 6 zeros. So that would be 1,152,000,000. Okay, this is from N.3 average balance method. Now, the shortcut method is the best way to tackle this. So you're using I equals PRT divided by 2 and plug in everything. P is your principal, and let's see, times rate. Make sure you convert that to decimals. That's 0.045. That's your R. Time is in years, not months, because the rate is for annual, divided by 2. Put this into your calculator and you should get $4,050. So this is just the interest, and that'll go down here, $4,050. Now add this principal to the interest to get the total amount that you're going to be paying. Okay, so hang on for a minute. Okay, so you're going to do 30,000 plus 4,050, and that'll give you $34,050. So this is a total amount paid, but you're doing it over 6 years, and you need the monthly payment. So you do 6 times 12, which is 72 months, and then you divide this total amount, 34,050, by 72. And that gives us a monthly payment of $472.92. Now there's a follow-up question that says, what if you can refinance the same loan, meaning the principal is that, but now you're doing it at 2.9%, convert that to decimals, 0.029, and the time is 5 years. So I is 30,000 times R, 0.029, times 5 all over 2. Put this into your calculator. I'm getting 43,125. So because it's... Oh, hang on. I have a mistake there. I was looking at the wrong question. So this should really be over 2. And when you type this into the calculator, you should get 2,175. Okay, I knew something wasn't right because the interest should be less than what we paid before. Okay, because we have fewer years and lower interest rate. So now we do P plus I, and that's going to give us 32,175 because we added to the principal. 5 years has 5 times 12 is 60 months. So you divide this by 60, and the amount is 536.25. All right. There's another question with the same procedure, average balance method. So let's try that. I is PRT all over 2. So that's 125,000 times 6.9%. That's 0.069. Time is 10 years all over 2. Put this into your calculator and you should get 43,125. So this is just the interest. Got to pay the principal also. So P plus I, 125,000 plus 43,125, and that is $168,125. And this is over 10 years, and we need the monthly payment. 10 times 12 is 120 months. So divide this 168,125 by 120, and that gives us the monthly payment for Brad. And that would be 1401.04. All right, next question is one of those markup markdown problems. This is saying that a shirt costs $48.75 and it's 25% off. So the discount would be 48.75 times 0.25, and that should be 12.1875. So that's what gets subtracted because it's a discount. It's getting off. So 48.75 minus 12.1875. And so the shirt after the discount is 36.56. Now, after you get the discount, you have to pay the tax. That's 8%. So you do 0.08 of that tax. And then you add it to the amount that you're paying to give you the total amount that you pay. So if you put this into your calculator, you should get 39.48. Okay. So this is a straightforward problem where you apply the discount to the amount. Now, the next question is going to be a little different. So it's saying, what is the price of the shirt before discount? And this is after the discount, that was the sale. So in this case, you have to let X be the price of the shirt, price before the discount was applied. So this is the total original price, and you take away 35% of that, and then you end up paying $50. Okay, so this is 1x minus 0.35x. When you subtract, that's 0.65x, which is equal to 50, and then you divide by 0.65. And you get $76.92 as the cost before the discount. I hope that makes sense. Here's more for practice. If a Fitbit charge that costs $137.79, and this includes the 8%, what was the price of the Fitbit without the tax? So let's call that X. So X without the tax, but then you add the tax, 8% of that, that gives you $137.79. So this is 1X. Add this up, and you get 1.08x is 137.79. So to solve for x, we divide 137.79 by 1.08. Put this in your calculator, and you should get 127.58. Okay, so this is the cost before tax was applied. You can always check by putting the 8% tax on this and add it to the cost to see if you get 137.79. One more of the markup markdown here. It says management at a large company has proposed a 2% pay cut to all their employees. and a shift supervisor has a salary before the pay cut, prior to the pay cut, what will be her new salary? So you take this new salary, the old salary, and you subtract 2% of that. So simply direct problem, figure out what this is by finding 2% of her salary. This amount, if you put this in your calculator, you should get 1,428. And then when you subtract, she's getting a pay cut. Her salary is now down to so much, $69,972. Now we have the opposite information given. This is Bill, who's a floor worker. He's been told that his new salary will be $46,200 after the pay cut. So this is the problem where you have to let X be the salary prior to the pay cut. So this is X. From X, you take away 2%, and then you set it to equal the new salary. This is 1. 1 minus 0.02 is 0.98X, and that's equal to 46,200, and you divide by 0.98, and you should get X to equal, so Bill, his old salary was 47,142.86. But he got a pay cut, so he's going to make 46,200 now. All right. This next question is from N4. It's asking for absolute and relative change. There's two ways to doing it. It's saying compare the snowfall in Syracuse to the snowfall in Rochester. So it looks like it's wanting Syracuse minus Rochester divided by Rochester. But if you flipped it, you could do Rochester minus Syracuse divided by Syracuse. Just put the wording in appropriately. All right, first let's do absolute change. So we're going to do Syracuse minus Rochester. And that would be 120 minus 90 inches. So that's 30 inches. This is your absolute change. For the relative change, we're going to do this. So we have 120 minus 90 divided by 90 times 100%. And that would be, put this in your calculator, you should get 33.3% approximately. So it says write complete sentences. You could say that Syracuse gets 30 inches more snow than Rochester, which is 33% more snow. All right, the next question is from N6. It's talking about the area of Orlando compared with Disney World. So they want to make a square. I urge you to pause the video and read this question, okay? So in the interest of time, I'm going to just answer the question here. So Orlando is represented by a 5 centimeter by 5 centimeters squared. The area is going to be 5 times 5, and that's 25. We need our units. It's not centimeters, but centimeters squared. Next, we need to do a proportion where we need a square for Disney World. So if you just look at Orlando, Orlando's area is 114, and its square is over here, 25. Set it equal to Disney's area is 40 over X. We need to find the area for that representation of Disney World. So cross multiply 114X equals, when you multiply these two, you should get 1,000. And check it. And then divide by 114, and you should get 8.77 square centimeters. So that's the area for Disney World's representation. So what would the length be? So the area is 8.77. That's your side squared. So here's where we learned in class to take square roots to get the side. Put this in your calculator. Square root of 8.77 should give you 2.96 centimeters. There's another CPI question, 11. When Disney's Magic Kingdom first opened, it says that adult admission cost $350, and that was a CPI. So 1971, create a ratio. 3.50 over 40.5, CPI versus admissions, equals CPI today, 300, what is the admission cost? So solve this, cross multiply. So you have 40.5x equals, when you multiply those two numbers, you should get 1,050. And divide by 40.5, $25.93, which, by the way, is not the admission cost. They charge a lot more. Okay, the next question is asking for an explanation of CPI. CPI basically is the measure of the average change in prices over time compared to a CPI of 21.8 in 2010. It was a lot less because of inflation and the value of the dollar. The CPI in 2010 is a lot higher. Okay, so that's what you would say here. So CPI measures the average change in prices for a basket of goods over time. And the CPI, when it says to compare, the CPI in 2010 was much higher than in 1945 due to inflation and value of the dollar. All right, last question. This is talking about Manhattan, which is in New York City. Its area is 22.82. Central Park is in the heart of Manhattan. It's inside Manhattan, and it's smaller. So what percent of Manhattan, which is the whole, is covered by Central Park, which is part? So 1.317 part over whole times 100%. Okay, so you're putting those numbers in, and you should get 5.77%. Check it. Now this one's saying just to find the area of a square. So pretty simple, 6 times 6, 36 square centimeters. And now, just like the Disney problem, we're going to set up a ratio saying that suppose Central Park will be a smaller square inside the big square. What will the area of that have to be? So we'll make a ratio for Manhattan. Manhattan's area was 36 for the square, but its actual area is 22.82. And then for Central Park, I'll call it CP, we need to find its area. Its actual area is 1.317. We cross multiply that, and you should get 22.82x equals 47.412. Divide and solve, you should get 2.078. That's the area for the square. And lastly, to find the length of the side, this is the area. So side squared is 2.078. Take the square root, and you should get 1.44. All right, that's the end of that.